Googe. They've been absolutely superb. 35 for Carline, 39 for Googe, going just under a one-a-ball rate. However, they've batted with class today. But just back to that point, as we look at the bowler's card now. Kami and Rajbanshi, very, very economical. Mid-twos per over. Kami not quite as successful as Monday, where he took 4 wickets in the game. But Gulshan Jar also showing good signs and good pace. So it feels, as I mentioned, it feels too often sometimes in international cricket where bowlers are trying to carry out a plan which doesn't quite suit them. Is that something you discuss as a team and you think, yeah, we're not going to have Nandan take on the short ball ploy, we're going to bring him on at a different point in the game, or do you expect a professional cricketer to be able to carry out any plans almost asked of him?
I think in today's day and age, you'd expect the professional cricketer to have them skills and tools in his pocket ready to go at any point. But again, you've got to look at the strengths and weaknesses of a bowler, and if you're asking somebody where the build and the body and the strength might not be there to bowl 6 bouncers in a row or challenge the hip as often as possible, you know, you can see the contrast difference in the two physical elements from the two bowlers on shore. You might be asking them to do something out of their natural ability, which can cause injury in the long run, which can put a lot of impact on the body, which the stress is not required. But also, you might be taking the bowler away from his natural game plan, which has got him to this level in the first place. So, you know, you want your bowlers to be resourceful as much as possible, but you also want to make sure that the bowler has the ability to turn around and say, well, my success rate is this, I'm learning this, and it's not quite ready, and I'm trying to back this up in from a bowling perspective.
And so there we see Stuart Law, head coach at Nepal, talking to his players. Let's put you in that position again, Kaz. Bit of confidence boosting going on, a few people sat down, a couple of heads dropping, and what do you reckon they'll be talking about tactics-wise?
I think the key thing here is just to try and find a wicket. Stewie Law, known him for a while now, he's a great individual with lots of cricketing experience, but also lots of experience as head coach, been around the world, had lots of different challenges. He'll be, you know, he's done a fantastic job in Nepal since he's been involved, and they've gone from leaps and bounds, and they've really shown the tagline of the cardiac kids have calmed down a little bit. So I'm sure he's trying to instill some, you know, tactics in there which they might not be able to see on the pitch. And you've got to try and simplify as often as possible. You cannot keep going in there and saying, I want you to do these 5 or 6 things. Maybe 1 or 2 things just to sort of, you know, remind people on certain elements. Maybe a fielding change, maybe a tactical move that might not be so evident or visible that you can see from the outline, but you can't see from inside. So, yeah, I mean, great experience, fantastic man, is Stewie Law, and I think he's done a wonderful job. Great accent as well.
And we see the Jersey batters there having a little discussion, I think, with the skipper, Rohit Padel. More of the same for Jersey?
Yeah, absolutely, and they'll be fantastic. Overly happy, I think. And they've done fantastically well to get into a really solid start. Another tick in the box from a batting unit perspective. Get to drinks without a wicket down. 77 for no loss is a really good platform, and I'm sure they'd want to kick on from here onwards.
Well, Gulshan Jar will be looking to make an impact now. As he runs in again from the pavilion end, fresh after a bit of hydration. Patrick Goose sorting out his grip. Harrison Carlisle getting his head back in the game. As these two, as you mentioned, Kaz, looking to kick on and keep doing what they're doing. I reckon they probably won't change much at all. Maybe they'll get to the 35 over mark and then start thinking about maybe climbing up. I mean, if they're still together by over 30, they can look to do it a little bit earlier. And here comes Gulshan Jar. Can he make the breakthrough? Unbelievable start. Textbook from Carline. And so often the ball after drinks might bring a bad chance, but that's the complete opposite.
Yeah, I was just about to say there might be a wicket after drinks. Always the same and always the going. Always does take shape, whatever level you're playing at. But that's a freebie for the batter. It's exactly what you want, just to realign your...
Slightly over pitched. Put away. Short ball cut away. There's a fielder out there. And with the spin and skip, takes it away past him. Arjun Kamal will pick up from behind the covers. And a shaky start after drinks from Gulshan.
Yeah, and you've kind of leaked 8 runs purely because you've not bowled in the right areas. And that's what a drinks break or a momentum break can do for you. You know, you've given some width on offer just in the second delivery with pace, and there's no fielder out there. And then you've started off with a rank half volley and a batter who's cashing in on the 40s is not going to miss out.
No, we've hardly seen Carline miss out on a single poor delivery so far today. Sits on 43. And that's brilliant batting. 4-4 and runs it down to third man. Doesn't get ahead of himself, doesn't look for the third boundary on the trot. And now sit after very close to the perfect start for him post-drinks.
Yeah, and this will be a really good challenge for Gulshan, who's obviously got the pace and the bounce and everything that goes with it, but you really still want to be clinical, and he's just not been in the first 3 balls there. He's want to start targeting, getting back into rhythm, trying to get past the splice of the bat, hip high, targeting the off stump as much as possible. And I think he's more favourable to do that to Patrick Gouge as opposed to Harrison.
Gulshan continuing to try and hone in on that length, and I reckon the discussion maybe in the drinks break could have been to use that bouncer with a little bit more surprise, because the fielders are both out there. It's still definitely a tactic. Maybe we might see one just before the end of the over. But the batters continuing where they left off. Run rate a tick over 5. Jersey will be incredibly happy with their start.
Yeah, they've done well. 86, loss of no wickets. Done really well. Positive signs. Great to see from the Jersey batters. And they'll be looking to cash in towards off milestones that they can get to.
There it is. There's the short ball. Fielder interested just over the top. Goose gets a 6 for it, but it wasn't without risk. That ends the over. It's 92 for none, and there was the surprise bouncer. Gulshan Jar walks off towards his teammate Bim Sharkey for a little discussion, but he'll be disheartened with how that over ended. He snatches the towel off and steams out towards fine leg. 92 for none.
I think he's more disappointed with the fielding effort. That's been hit really, really hard. There was a fielder out there, and it does look like it was Sandeep who's out there. But, you know, maybe a little bit of a higher jump. It was going in the right direction. Sandeep's waltzed in, left the ball for one of the spectators to go and fetch as he comes up to mark his run up. Class act.
Well, here we go then. Sandeep Lamichhane. They need a breakthrough here, Nepal. And they brought on their main man to get it. mid-bin, mid-wicket. The deep men are mid-wicket and long off, and deep point as well. There's also a long on. Lamachani bowls. Carline treats him with respect. Two men approaching their milestones. Lamachani on the mark again.
Yeah, he started off well, hasn't he? Just a wily run up into the crease, looking to ball into the right areas. I think he'll be wanting to get through his repertoire as much as possible. Experience around the world.
Pushing drive into the covers. And a single well taken. This opening pair have just been so impressive today. Not just in the balls that they put away, but the balls in which they found runs from. Lamachani spins himself a catch. Guj on strike on 45. Start of dreams this for Jersey. Top edge as it's a powerful cut shot from Guj. It's going to run away for 4. And that moves him on to 49. So just one run away. Not the most convincing shot, but he's got a ball to do it against Sandeep Lamachani.
Yeah, he's batted well. Got a bit of fortune there, thick outside edge. Sandy will be trying to finish strong here.
Can Lamachani get him on 49? It's a googly. And the umpire sticks to the decision of not out, and Guj survives. He saw it, his eyes lit up at the short ball, didn't he? He didn't quite pick the googly, and it was a chance, but going down leg and probably height as well. Lamachani ends his first over. It goes for 5, and Jersey a 97 for none.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much Patrick Guj has faced of Sandeep Lamachani before. Maybe on Laura 97 or something like that. Is that a computer game? What is it nowadays?
God, I went through the Don Bradman era, I think. I remember playing Don Bradman 17. That was a classic game. Just a question about analysis at the associate nation level. How much goes into preparing for a bowler like Sandeep Lamachani? We'll get back to it after this ball as Lalit Rajbanshi returns to the attack. Harrison on 45. Struck on the pad. This is a big call for the umpire. There was a large appeal from Rajbanshi, who was desperate for that wicket. Heavy thud on the front pad. And looked close, but yeah, how much analysis do teams do at the associate nation level?
Well, having had experience with 3 different countries now, all with different budgets, of course.
Yes.
You know, in my last job, we had a fantastic analysis coming from India, who very professional in his work, tagged every single delivery, every single ball, brought out strengths and weaknesses, gave real insight information to every batter, every bowler, and allowed the batters to soak up that information. The danger is you over-empower players with the knowledge and they're not quite used to it. Some systems are in place where players will just want it on their phones as something to watch over or refer back to. Some players, as soon as they come off, sit down with the analyst and go, you know, deep into their discussions about why they've been out and what they haven't. I think each to their own, but it's our job as coaches and a management system to provide that information however they want to learn that information and go away and improve the game.
Carline now just taking a few dot balls. This will be really interesting to see how he closes out this over, Carline. He's not a man that likes to block out deliveries and let pressure build up upon him. He finds a single in the covers. Little chance at the non-striker's end as the ball picks up and hits Lalit in the neck region. But Nepal have just got to remember that that's what a few dots can do as the wind continues to breeze, and Rajbanshi's got one delivery left to close out this brilliant over. Guj on 49, 98 for none jersey. A bottom edge trickles to short third. Now player on 49. He's had a couple of overs in a row now where he's just faced out the final delivery on 49. Maybe just a small milestone might be building up upon him. End of the over, 98 for none.
Be interesting to see how Nepal can get a breakthrough. They've obviously gone to their most experienced spinner who's had success around the world, bowled to some of the biggest and greatest batters out there, and played some of the greatest tournaments out there. Interesting to see how Sandeep is also going to be utilising his googly as much as possible to the right-handers, and how he sets them up.
And there is the googly you mentioned. For a minute I thought there was a rattle of the stumps, but Carline gets away with it, and he's already showing the challenge that Lamichhane possesses in the variation department.
Yeah, and the danger is that Carline hasn't...
Oh, it's happened again.
And that's the point that I'm trying to... If you look at it from a technical point of view, there's too much of a gap between bat and pad here. And he's allowing the googly to come in and attack the stumps. I'd probably want to see more of a full-face attacking shot as opposed to I'm going to sit back and try and cut him, because that's all what the bowler's looking for, is enough space between bat and ball to go on and hit the stumps with a googly.
There's another show of it, and you get the feeling if Lamichhane bowls any fuller and Carline continues to rock back all of a sudden, that's going to be a real danger with the ball spinning in with the variation. But Harrison, 4 runs away from a 50. He'll be looking to get there with a boundary, that's for sure. It's the back foot, Harrison Carlisle hesitates for a moment and gets to non-striker's end for a single. He moves to 47. 46 he will remain on then. So Guj now has 2 balls to get to his 50. He's on 49, matching his shirt number. And a single would also take jersey to the 100 opening partnership. A punch down the ground, hits the stumps. That would have come off the bat and Guj would have instantly thought it's 50 time. But he's got to remain patient. Lamichhane has the tools. Plenty of experience now. Still only 25 years of age. And another little pause as Guj has been on 49 for plenty of time. And he pats it back to Lamichhane, who does his job. Leaves Guj on 49. That ends the over. 99 without loss jersey. And both batters just got to hold their nerves as they approach the 50 mark. And they continue their brilliant, top quality opening stand.
Yeah, it's been good so far. Very impressed. 20 overs, solid platform. Another tick in the box for the batting unit. 20 overs gone without a loss, as the batting card shows. Harrison on 46 of 66. And Guj stuck on 49 of 54 balls. It's been edging away trying to get a single away or somewhere, find a gap somewhere or the other. But they've been solid so far, and it's been a real good show and a great comeback from the first game.
Oh, it's a flowing drive. It's just beaten backward point, who was reeling around to try and get there. And it is going to be fielded on the boundary. plenty of applause, and I'm not sure if there is a 50 up, because it was a 3 for Harrison, and he's moved to 49, so plenty of chuckles away in the hospitality tent as the fans have realised both now sit on 49. 100 up though for Jersey, that must have been the applause. Gouge pops one back to the bowler. Lalek Rajbanshi has got a task to do. Both batters on 49. A little bit of nerves in the air. He looks to close out this over. And Gouge has been on 49 for 4 overs now. And a brilliant stop from Rajbanshi continues the wait. Gouge has got to remain patient. He has a little scan of the field. Ponders on his next single to reach the half-century mark. And again, the ball grips. So easy, a batter can let the pressure get the better of him. Gouge remains focused. Down the track, he's hit it high up into the sky. Fielder out there, he's interested. It's been caught on the boundary. Oh, it's a brilliant piece of work. The most eventful way to get to 50. And a top quality piece of fielding from the Nepal captain, Dipendra Singh Array. You've raved about his fielding, Kaz, and that is an unbelievable piece of work on the boundary. He takes the catch, throws it back over, and he almost had a chance. But the story is Gouge gets to 50, Jersey 103 for none, 1 ball left in the over with Harrison Carlyon on 49. Can Jersey do it in back-to-back balls? Goes back, punches it into the offside, and a slightly less eventful way to reach 50. And he appreciates the crowd, raises his bat, and a fitting way for both these two opening batters who've got Jersey off to the perfect start, get to 50 in consecutive balls, congratulate each other, but they know the job's only half done. 104 for none, Jersey, and an incredible over comes to an end.
What an eventful last 2 balls that was. Everything was on shore there. But obviously from Dipendra's point of view, had a bit of work to do to get to the boundary. Made it a little bit more difficult for him because the ball was going away from him, hit into the wind. But I'm really happy for the 2 batters. They've really showed that there's some great determination to get over that 50 as we see the replay of this effort. And it's almost just, if anything, he's been pulled away from the ball because the ball's going away from him. He's not quite got to the boundary line as high as he would probably want to be to pull it back in. And he's almost pushed it away from him too far.
Two things come to mind then. One of which DSRA was intentionally about 10 yards in from the rope. So it made that job so much more challenging to run backwards, look over your shoulder and still take the catch. And the other thing which is so impressive, which shows me and everyone watching a glimpse of how good his fielding is, was that little scan. He had a brief moment. This one is the googly again, beats Gouge on the inside edge. There was a really, really brief moment as he was running back towards the boundary. A split second he looks at the boundary. Where is the rope? How far can he run back to? And it was just in that split second he was able to judge it with perfection.
Yeah, and he, like I say, he is renowned for his fielding. He is one of the better fielders around in associate cricket, and now going into franchise cricket, he's really made a name for himself.
And this googly is a real challenge for the Jersey batters. Both these 2 opening batters going back early to the googly and just about getting it out each time. Do you think the googly is almost a ball Lamachani will be wanting to flight up slightly more, maybe draw the batter onto the front foot, or is it a pretty common dismissal to lose wickets with googlies pouncing a little bit short?
Sandeep is a bowler who does bowl with a little bit of pace. So you'll kind of see his googly with a lower trajectory coming in, so it's almost like a a back of the length delivery. However, it's not quite working at the moment, so you do want to draw the batters in. One of his dismissals on Monday was slightly fuller, beating through the gate. So I do want to see him just bowl a little bit slower in the air, a little bit fuller, see if he can draw the batters to come in and either hit down the ground or hit over the top and obviously beat them through the gap.
Yeah, well remembered of Jake Dumford falling for 5 on Monday to that Lamachani googly. And he almost walked off in resignation at the quality of the ball.
Yeah, and he's got that quality. Again, the two spinners now are starting to put a little bit of pressure back on to the Jersey batters. They've couple of good overs. It's key now, again, from a captain's point of view, you want to start looking at trying to build some pressure. If you can't find a wicket or there's no obvious mistakes from the batters coming, what you want to do is start putting some pressure on from the bowling perspective to build some dots up. And equally, that's a pressure in itself. Or you want a moment of brilliance from your fielders like we nearly had in the last over.
Would you say that Nepal brought their spin on too late? Yes, they had an early spell from Rajbanshi in the power play, but I wonder if they could have brought on Lamachani straight after the power play. Yes, it's a small fix, but this is a play and a miss from Carline. Look at how he dips down and instantly gets frustrated. Do you think they maybe brought on spin too late, or was it minimal?
Two things. One, he was off the pitch for 7 or 8 overs, so coming up to the 10-over period there, he was actually doing laps in front of us, so he might not have been on the pitch ready to go. But the second thing is, you're right, maybe straight after the power play is finished and the field is spread, maybe they could have gone to their best premium sort of spin bowler. However, they are here to try to get everybody into the game as often and as much as possible. The second practice game that they've got over here is to try and give everybody a chance to get into the game. So yeah, maybe the bigger picture is not to instantly tear wickets, but trying to get everybody in terms of overs and get the workloads up.
Harrison Carline just motioning to the dugout for a request at a drink. Top edge on the sweep. It lands safely. Goose had a couple of moments like that where a leading edge is taken. It's been well fielded and they'll get back for a second run. Yeah, I have just noticed that Carline is slightly struggling out there. Just in the last few overs, taking his lid off in between the sets of 6. Both on 53 now, these two. More good batting from Googe. Low risk on drive punch out towards long on. The star fielder does the work, and on comes a drink for the two batters. As Jersey now sit on Nelson, 104 none, 23 overs gone. At what point do these two look to start to up the ante?
25th over. There's a halfway point. You've got wickets in the 10, and you can see from the two batters they're just getting a little bit fatigue, starting to creep in a little bit. A few mistakes are starting to come in terms of execution. So yeah, I mean, there's something brewing. There's something coming. Either we're going to get a flurry of runs or we're going to get a breakthrough in the wickets.
Gooch finds a single, dangerous man to take on. And Carline, the man who just requested some water, has had to go through his paces. He looks up to the sky, just asking Patrick Gooch, why? Why do that to me straight off?
It's the last thing you want, isn't it? Young lad calling you through.
Imagine what a 3 would do to him now. There's a shot of a man who's potentially getting a bit tired. It's a good save from Pandey. Carline gets back for a 2, getting put through his paces. I can see, you did just mention the 25 over mark. I wonder if Carline might start taking it upon himself to bludgeon a few boundaries away. Because Sandip Lamachani has bowled well, he's used the googly to good effect. A slip moves out to short third. Maybe that's just a little sign to Carline that he could maybe be a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah, and also a sign that the ball's probably not turning as much for a slip to be in there. As we say that, we see a bit of turn.
I must say, you made a few unbelievable calls over the last few days, but that one didn't quite land.
So Sandeep's got it wrong, I've got it.
Yeah, blame the bowler. And now a slip comes back in. I think everyone judged that wrong, to be honest. Oh, it's the googly. So nearly. Scuttles through onto the stumps. There's a roar from Lamachani in anger. He sets his standards so high, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does, and he's been a great servant to Nepal cricket. Fantastic. Early doors, he was shot onto the limelight very, very, very quickly. Something's brewing here, I can feel it.
Well, there's one ball left to survive for Carline. If there's something brewing, it might just happen now. Lamachani maybe just lobs one up here. He goes flat, and DS Array with the misfield. Fielded out in the deep by Lalit Rajbanshi, and that ends the over. Carline gets a single. He moves to 56 and will keep the strike. 24 overs gone. 1-1-5 for none. So Rajbanshi will continue. Are you motioning that you might want to see a bit of Arish Sheikh come on to the bowling? Is that what you're saying?
Bowell did it on that, yeah.
Bowell took 3 wickets.
Yeah. Bowell.
And whilst Hemant Dami took the first 4 wickets, Arif took 3 of the next 4.
Yeah.
Including Samarar for a golden duck, Ward for 1, and he got the wicket of one of the 2 men out there. Carline pull out a deep point.
Well, it could be his turn to rest. I mean, there are some movements happening on the sidelines from the Nepalese guys.
Harrison Carline has to go. The pressure was built. You felt something was brewing, Kaz. And it was a huge swing down the track. And I think that might just be a moment there from Harrison Carline, which shows to you that he was just starting the struggle out there. And he goes for a big swing, misses out, and he falls for a very, very well-made 56 from 80 balls. 115 for 1 now, Jersey.
Yeah, I kind of called it, you know. You could see it was starting to come. Something was going to happen. A miscue as he runs down to try and hit that over mid-on, mid-off. Good length delivery, good pace. But overall, a fantastic innings from Harrison as he walks off to a round of applause, both from his teammates, the management, and also the hospitality. Fantastic performance from the opening batter, the number 77 there. As we see a breakthrough from Nepal.
Now, I'd love to see a replay of that, because I'm not quite sure from the angle. I was blocked from young Patrick Gouge, whether that was bowled or stumped. Stumped? Let's have a look at it then. Let's make our decision. I think he might have given up to head back here, Carline. Down the track, missed. Rapid gloves. Bit of close call for the square leg umpire. Carline's got to go. He made a very, very good 56. He'll be immensely proud of that, and against a good quality lineup, good attack. Yusuf hit a few strong boundaries away, but we see the new batter, Nick Greenwood, was the pick of the Jersey bowlers on Monday. See how he does with the bat. And he's had a lot of time to spend with his pads on in the dugout. 24 overs of it. And it does come with its challenges, doesn't it, after an opening stand, coming in as a number 3, a lot of time sat on the bench waiting to go in, and also with the slight pressure to get going quickly.
Yeah, it does, and different batters have different cues and different sort of preparations. Some watch every single delivery, put on some strain on the mental side of the aspect before they've even got in. Other people like to listen to the music and wait for something to happen and get themselves in. There's other batters who are just constantly fidgeting and constantly walking around and trying to get into the action. Everyone's got their different cues and how they prep up on the sides.
Now, you spent a bit of your playing career both opening and in the middle order with the bat. I personally could never not open batting. How did you go about being able to juggle sitting for a period of time which could either be one ball or 5 hours?
Yeah, great question. Great question. Try to stay there as long as possible so it kills the innings down. But I think from my point of view, opening was something that I was manufactured into because we had a position available, and at the time the team that we were playing for, it was something that was asked of me, and I kind of took the responsibility. And then eventually going down to, after a couple of years of opening, going down to sort of one down, where I favoured that position a little bit more. But the key thing for me is, why wouldn't you want to face a new ball, a new challenge, put the team into a really good position? Power play kicks in, fielders' restrictions are in place.
As we see, a change of wicketkeeper. Now, he's got Hemant Dami's shirt on. Whether that is actually Hemant Dami, we'll have to find out for you, because we did struggle a little bit on Monday with 2 number 13s out on the pitch. We'll do our best to let you know who that is, but after a very, very good stumping, Asif Sheikh does depart the field. He'll be having a little bit of a break at the 25 over mark. And Greenwood begins his time facing Lamachani with a confident push into the offside. Greenwood will take a single, even post a breakthrough for Nepal. It continues to be a little bit flat out there in the field. And Jersey batters, it gives them the ability to keep going about their business. Patrick Googe in particular will be targeting 3 figures, that's for sure. 117 for 1 here, Jersey. He's got a mighty problem to solve with Lamachani, who continues to run in. Takes a single into the offside, well fielded by Kushal Patel. This might be me being a little bit harsh here, but do you think it's a slight technical issue? A lot of Lamachani's googlies are tending just to be a fraction short.
He does ball it quick through the air, and the trajectory-wise, he's not one to get over the top of his delivery. As that ball races away past the 45 position on the leg side, tucked in nicely there from Patrick Gooch. Again, a googly that's not been effective. Trickle down for 4 runs.
Yeah, misfield there. From the fielder at short fine. Lamichhane definitely won't be too happy. As the hospitality tent continues to rumble and murmur. And there's the googly again, just slightly short from Lamichhane. I would love to see a batter be forced to get on the front foot to the googly. See if Lamichhane can really lob a few up there. Maybe he's not getting quite enough purchase to be able to put it up above the eye line with confidence, but I'm sure Lamichane's got something up his sleeve. And that drive pops through the hands of Kushal Patel. The standards in the field have just ever so slightly dropped here for Nepal. They need to keep the pressure up as Jersey get through to 1-2-4 for 1.
Yeah, and an interesting point you made there of the fielding standards. A slight contrast difference to what we saw the other night in terms of being efficient, being on it, not making any mistakes at the field. You can just see it didn't help in the first over or so, very early doors. We had the overthrows coming in. The standards have been okay so far, but I'm pretty sure that Nepal management under the watchful eye of Stuart Law would probably just want them boys to be a little bit more clinical in the field. And that's another challenge you have on days like this, where you are bowling first. It's a different challenge. It's a new day, fresh challenge. So you gotta try and tick all the boxes as much as possible.
Now, as we see Kushal Patel, he was doing some warming up with his spin to the glove into the mitt of Stuart Law on the sidelines, but now he's here, ready to go. Spins himself a catch. Greenwood continues to tick along with 1s and 2s. So we just get a still moment in today's weather. Nicer day than we had for the first one-dayer. Gooch goes back, punches up to long off for an extra single. Gooch continues to impress. I wonder if Patel might just be one of those bowlers. We often see it more in the longer format when a partnership is set and when a pitch is good for batting. Actually, a part-time leggy is the kind of bowler that could break a partnership, whether it's with a drag down or a magic delivery, or whether it's a delivery which just might make the batter's eyes light up and think that it's a boundary on offer. Greenwood remains patient though.
And he's bowled all right, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's put the ball in the right areas, ball into his field, as he looks to bring in a slight fielding change here. Depender from mid-on moving to long on, and a fielder at deep mid-wicket coming inside the ring.
That's a good delivery. Hanging the ball on about a 4th, 5th stump line with a bit of leg spin, but that ends the over. Umpire hands the cap back to Patel, and Jersey is at 127 for 1 from their 27 overs and continue to tick along nicely. And now the question remains of at what point Jersey will look to start clicking up through the gears. And me personally, I reckon we'll probably wait until about the 37, 35 mark, which might seem late for you.
Yeah, traditionally teams tend to go around, 32, 30, 35 at the latest. The last 15 overs, last 18 overs, they're trying to capitalise as much as possible, especially in this position. You've got wickets in the tent. they could go earlier if the two set batters were in. But obviously you've got a change up in Nick Greenwood coming in, who's might need a little bit of time into the crease, although he's on 9 off 12. He's done really well since he's been in. But yeah, at some point they're going to have to accelerate. If that 300 mark should definitely be a target for me.
Kuj getting really low into his shots off the front foot. It's a good sign of a good player of spin. Movements are quick. Lamachani searching for a wicket now. Can he get one on the board? Beautiful shot as Kuj rushes through for the first run, even though it's got single written all over it. Such a great sign of a
jersey. He showed some confidence. Pulled really well. Looks a really good idea. He's looked good. Game plan against spin has been good so far. He's obviously watchful. Early doors against the seamers. A really good find.
Good glove work from the man who's been subbed on. But yeah, Kuj just looking mature beyond his years at the moment. So Lamachani. Lofts a good length ball just outside the line of off stump. I am enjoying watching Lamachani go about his business and lobbing the odd ball up. He's in class. So there is the googly again, just a touch short. We'll definitely be looking to pitch that one up, but that ends the over. 129 for 1, as we now see Kushal Patel come back onto the bowling, and I can now deliver you a few stats about his one-day international bowling career. He's bowled exactly 100 overs now, just with the one maiden. He also had best figures of 4 for 20 coming against the Netherlands. He also has a 4 for 23 against the USA. And the man behind the stumps who has been subbed on for Asif Sheikh at the 25 over mark, we can confirm, is Binod Bandari. Kushal Patel making a few tinkers and changes to his field. Short fine leg comes slightly squarer. DS Array is out at long on. Deep mid wicket 2. Here's Patel. And Kuj knocks a single up towards Nepal skipper. Jersey tick over the 130 mark. And Kuj into the 60s.
Yeah, and you'd want to get Kuj playing as long as possible now. He's obviously been in for 74 deliveries for his 60.
A sweetly timed drive beats extra cover fielder. Yeah, just from a personal player point of view, he'll be seeing this as a great opportunity just about time. Almost be the anchor throughout this Jersey innings. Takes another quick single, brilliant batting, great intensity. Would you say that when you've got, let's say you've got a batter set, like we have here, it might depend on the batter, but is it up to the man who's set to kick on, or is it up to the players who can come in around him to kick on, or are you looking for positivity from both? Let's come back to it after this ball. As Greenwood looks for a 2, Guja's in. And a slight misfield brings about the second rung. But furious with his man out there. What do you say? Whose job is it to start kicking on?
It's $1 million question you've just asked me there. And I also think it's the intent of where you're playing as well, and what level you're playing at. When you get club cricket, you get guys who are coming in and they want to work around the batter too, who's been in there for a long period of time. They'll end up taking the high risk element and keep the batter who's been in for a while to bat longer so that he can have a little bit of a break and then go on and kick on a little bit later. I think at the higher level game, you'll get the guy who's just come in to support as much as possible the guy who's been in for long periods of time, and then when he's ready, they can alternate between the two on who kicks on and who doesn't. But the key thing here is you cannot give your wickets away cheaply. Patrick Gujarat's doing really well, and I'm sure from a personal perspective he'll want to keep batting out there for as long as period. But from a team perspective as well, the longer he bats, the more runs they're putting onto the board with a guy who's in form and who's been there for long.
Jersey still with plenty of firepower to come. The likes of Jonty Jenner, who spoke so well out there at the toss. Looking forward to another challenge. As another one of your calls comes off here. Kaz, you've asked for it, and it's time for the man who took 3 wickets on Monday. Arif Sheikh, for a little bit of those slightly pace off, but off the long run deliveries.
Yeah, and I thought he was really effective on Monday. He did really well. But again, it'll be a different challenge for him here because Team Nepal have only got 1 wicket at the moment. Different conditions. He's bowling to a set batter. So it'll be interesting to see what he's going to do and what his plan is here.
Moves through low.
Skiddy bowler.
Yeah, it's quite a bit, but it's a sight we've seen a lot of, as you mentioned earlier today, from that end. The ball just having more of a tendency to shoot through low. Good glove work from Binod. Again, there it is. I wonder if that's just more a sign of the skiddy nature of the bowler or more from the pitch here.
The danger here is that he gets a massive thick edge or a slight nick into the keeper's glove here, playing that shot. The tactic is obviously have the keeper up and trying to get him to play from the crease, skid the ball on as much as possible.
That one picks up as Guj predicted and gets a single out towards Rajbanchu, does the work. Yes, when those flat-batted shots come with the extra risk when there is that variable bounce, and it's a shot he enjoys. Guj using the pace down towards third man and backward point region. The late cuts is a shot he executes well. As there's a sign of the ball just picking up off the back of a length ball.
It's a rare sign from that end, a ball just taking off. A lot of the balls have kept sort of almost waist high, sort of thigh pad high. So that's just a great take behind the stumps.
And Guj, a young lad, now in the 60s. Different players, obviously, will be thinking about the milestone. And that feels like a better shot to play on that length with the straight bat, being able to cope with the varying bounce, but that ends the over 135 for 1. Now 30 over mark.
pitch it there.
Let's have a think, Kaz. Jersey, 300 still the target?
Absolutely. I think from this position, 20 overs in, you'd another 165 or 20 overs. You'd like to think they would get there with wickets in the 10. And I think it'll be a really good platform and another tick in the box from the batting department to get up to that 300 mark.
And it is just worth remembering, Jersey still only have 135 runs. Yes, we're 30 overs in and they've lost the 1 wicket. But if Jersey try and kick on too early and lose a couple of wickets, all of a sudden 135 for 3 or 4 doesn't look quite as convincing. As he cuts confidently down the ground. And I'd say the role for Googe now is just to bat through the 50. Kick on when he's ready, but it's actually up to the other players more to come in and take on the wrist shots, as you mentioned.
Yeah, and almost give him a little bit of a breather for 10 overs and let him go again in the last 10. But he's got to look to stick around as much as possible. Keep rotating strike.
Pulled away nicely, skipping along the boundary. Nick Greenwood gets the boundary to his name. He moves to 16, and a slight drag down from Kushal Patel as he whips out. I've never seen that. He's pulled almost a string out of his playing bottoms.
I think what you've just seen there is often players cut the trouser so it fits around the ankle a little bit better, and the threading from the ankle of what he's cut out is probably what's quite loose there.
Well, I hope he doesn't have a trousers malfunction.
Well, we don't want to see that.
No, we don't. Especially a man of his quality. Solid punch through the covers.
Although I do believe he is a bit of a gym buff, so I'm sure his tattoos and his pectoral muscles and everything else, I'm sure he's not as shy of a selfie in front of the mirror. I don't think he'll mind having a malfunction anyway. Yeah.
Well played from Googe. Thought about it too. The Jersey batters have been so impressive. Everything you look for in a 50-over innings in terms of the first 30. They put away bad balls. The running between the wickets has been top class. There's no sign of Googe getting tired out there.
No, they've done really well, and a typical Jersey performance with the bat in the first 30 overs. It's been really good to see against a really quality opposition from Nepal. I think they've done really well. They've shown they can have some resilience in coming back from the performance from the other day, but they've also shown that they've played some good cricket shots. They've respected deliveries. They've played off the bad balls, but they've also looked to rotate the strike, which is quite key at this point, which they didn't do a lot of. I mean, bear in mind, we did lose a lot of wickets, but it's good to see that they're picking up singles inside the ring and rotating strike. And they've capitalised the ball on the boundary ball as much as possible.
They just have to hope now, right, that the collapse doesn't come, because the collapse would ruin all the hard work. And if they, I mean, similar to Nepal, where they were on Monday. Again, looking for 2. Googe, good fielding out in the deep. But at the 35th over in Nepal's first innings, they were 172 for 2. And then ended up on 250.
Largely down to a massive shower and change of condition on the pitch, and, dare I say, excellent bowling from Jersey who came out with a real definitive plan. So credit goes to Jersey. Not sure we're going to get quite the same rainfall, and also the condition changing of the pitch.
Shot back of the square, but fielder out there, well placed, collects. So I guess my question here now is, excluding the rainfall, there is still the potential that if they get the next 10 overs or so wrong, Jersey will be incredibly unhappy with a score below 250.
Yeah, you'd like to think that 115 overs takes them to 250 with 5 overs to go.
Okay.
Or little 5 overs to go, and trying to get up to that. They might have a good spell in there, but 15 overs, 100 runs, it's not unheard of at this level with this amount of wickets. So I would probably say even 100, 120, 130. And with that kind of batting there from that explosion that we've just seen from Patrick Googe, a short ball from Arif, he's tucked into that and it's gone towards the cow corner area. Fantastic cricket shot for 4 runs.
He's done that so well today, hasn't he? The way he's used that pull shot to great effect. And so often the short balls haven't hurried him. It's how he got out on Monday. And almost the fact that Nepal have targeted it has worked to his favour because he is so strong on the back foot.
Yeah, and I've got a question why his ball's short when there's no deep cow corner out there. The only fielder that's deep seems to be just behind square. And in all the pull shots that we've seen so far, bar the swivel pull that's gone behind the fine leg, everything's gone in front of square leg. So you can question the tactic.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be a huge amount of real clear planning from the Nepal bowlers as we see Rajbanshi take over. Greenwood queries the prospect of a quick cover single. Jersey tick over the 150 mark now, 32 overs gone. Single taken this time, putting the fielder under pressure. Causes the fumble in the pickup. Now Patrick Googe sits on 70. Greenwood has done his job to perfection, under the radar, getting up to the 20 mark, seeing himself in after a long opening stand. Great stop from Patel. See, there's a few fielders out there where the Jersey batters just hesitate that little bit more about the chance of a single.
Yeah, absolutely, and a fine, flying Kushal Bhutal mid-wicket doing the work for the left-arm spinner. Crucial in that area.
Googe has rotated the strike well down the ground. And it's the way he hits gaps with conviction. As a head coach, when you look at a young batter coming through and the key signs which show true potential, how much is it that impresses you around the striking of a ball? Because when Googe has middled it, it has gone a long way. But what I found so impressive is when he looks for singles, he really, firmly strikes it into a gap. He hits the deep fielder or he'll hit someone in the ring. And as we pause for a drinks break on 153 for 1, how important is that when you're looking for young talent?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, some of the key criteria that you want from a batting perspective is players who can rotate the strike, who are game intelligent, so they have an ability to play back foot, front foot off both fast bowlers and spinners, but also who are players who've got a little bit of power, but also the finesse of the touch cricket, so they can find the angles, they can rotate the strike, they can get in between